Hey, Stuart, Pastor Ryan here. I'm excited to join with you on our Advent series, Engage M-Town. And this week we're talking about joy. And so I hope you're ready for this. If you missed the last few weeks of this series, I really encourage you to get online and watch it on the Facebook page. You can also connect with our on our YouTube page, and you can connect right there with what God is doing. And but I'm really excited. Let's go. So when I was in college, I went to a Christian Bible school, and every student, every semester, had to be involved in what they called Christian service. It was basically volunteering, being involved in your community, your church, or the community where we were at. And so a lot of people were, some did like preaching as a lead pastor, or they worked as a youth pastor, or worked with a youth group. Some, volunteered at various organizations in town, Youth for Christ, stuff like that. A bunch of us volunteered at a skate church that one of the churches kind of had started, and they utilized the Bible college students to kind of help run it. And so that was a pretty fun time, hanging out with those kids and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't a skater myself, but I like to be there, mostly because I like to be the pizza guy, right? I was the guy that got to put the Totino's pizzas or the Jack's pizzas, whatever cheap pizza we could buy, into the cooker, and I was the one that cut it, right? And then I was, we sold by the slice there, and that was kind of like my gig. I loved doing that kind of stuff. Towards the end of my schooling, I was kind of looking for something that was a little bit different, and there's a William Penn University in Oskaloosa, Iowa, was one of the was a college right near where I was at, and they had a radio station. And I thought, man, it'd be kind of cool to be a DJ, right? I don't know about you, but for me, I kind of always had that thought of how much fun it would be to be a radio DJ, to spin those hot stacks of wax, right? And so I called the college, and I got a hold of the radio station manager, and I said, hey, my name is Ryan. I go to the local Bible college, Vennard, and I was wondering if there's any way that you'd let me kind of host a radio show. Is there any slots that are open that we could host a radio show and play some music? And they said, well, we have a spot open on Sundays from 10 to midnight, and if you're interested, it's yours. You can have it. And so, of course, I thought, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And so I connected with one of my friends, Luke, and we started doing it. We started going in Sunday nights, and we would get over to the campus, and we'd start playing all kinds of music. Now, the radio station didn't have a very strong signal, so it was not like we were broadcasting to central or to southern Iowa, right? It was just, it could barely make it to campus, to where we were at, a couple miles away. And so we would play every Sunday night. And this was back before the iPod, before digital. All the music was digital now, and so we had to bring our own CDs. And so we would bring this big trapper keeper full of CDs, and I would flip through them, get the next song ready. I think we had 2, maybe 3 CD players that you could have a couple of songs ready, queued up, ready to go. And so we would do that. And we did that for a number of months, and I bring snacks with me, of course, because I can't go anywhere without snacks, right? And so we bring snacks and kind of just hang out and have a lot of fun. And we thought, man, we're going to be taking phone calls left and right. I believe in like the 2 years I did the DJing, I may have taken 1 or 2 phone calls. I know I took 1 for sure because they wanted Dr. Dre, a song by Dr. Dre, and we were only playing like Christian music, like hip hop and Juliana Theory, stuff like that. So he couldn't play that song, and he was mad at us because he couldn't play that song he wanted to. But we had 1 listener, I know for a fact. We had 1 listener, but he was upset with us. Well, anyways, one of the nights, as we were heading to the campus, my friend Luke was going to drive, and so I went to his apartment. And I had my big trapper keeper with me. I was wearing shorts and a hoodie, And I get to his house, and his wife answers the door, lets me in, and they have this little dog, this little yippy dog that was there, and bouncing around everywhere. And so I pet it in. She yells to Luke that I was here and ready to go. He needs to get ready to go, and so I waited for a few minutes. And so as I was waiting, I put my stuff down, and I got down on my hands and knees, and I was kind of petting the dog, right? And the dog was up on top of me and petting him. I was like, oh my goodness, you're petting him, and no, it's okay, and petting the dog. And eventually Luke comes around the corner. And she said, I'm surprised that he's usually not that jumpy. Our dog is not that jumpy. And I said, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And as I stood up to go, I looked down, and on my hooded sweatshirt and all over my shorts, it was just soaking wet from something. So I kind of lift up my sweatshirt, right? Because that's what you do, right? You lift it up and, ooh, it smelled like dog pee. And she was like, I am so sorry. I cannot believe he did this. I'm like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. We're right by campus. I'll just go over and get it changed. And just this big dog pee stain on me. And as I stood up, she just continually said, I'm sorry, I cannot believe that happened. And she's like, I don't know why he would do that. Why would he would just go that crazy to jump on top of you and be peeing? And I said, well, it might be that I had a cheeseburger in my pocket. You see, McDonald's was having a sale that night. It was 25 cents for a cheeseburger. And so I grabbed a couple of them to bring with me to the radio station. And as she looks at me and says, what, you had a cheeseburger in your pocket? And so, yeah, and I pulled out the 2 cheeseburgers that were in my pocket. And she just explodes in laughter. I'm like laughing, he's laughing. And I'm like, oh my word, the cheeseburgers did it, right? The cheeseburgers, made this dog go crazy. Today we're talking about joy, not just being happy, right? Because I think joy and happiness, while they can be related, you don't have to be happy to have joy in your heart, right? So it's not just about being happy, but the joy of this dog who smells a cheeseburger in my hoodie and just urinates everywhere. There's that much joy. See, that's the joy of a hoodie cheeseburger is the kind of joy I want to talk about today. Let's look at Luke chapter 1, verses 46 to 55. And this is Mary's song that we're going to look at today. Now, so in the earlier chapters of Luke here, Mary has found out she's having a baby, and she's just went to see her cousin Elizabeth, and she's explained to her how I'm having a baby, and they've had this interaction where she's pregnant, Elizabeth is pregnant too, and the baby leaps inside of her as she tells about the Messiah that she's carrying. And so now we come to this moment where Mary shares her song. Now, it's not Mary, Did You Know? It's not that song, that horrible song, but it's the song of Mary. My soul glorifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. For he has been mindful of the humble state of his servant. From now on, all generations will call me blessed. For the Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is his name. His mercy extends to those who fear him from generation to generation. He has performed mighty deeds with his arm. He has scattered those who are proud in their innermost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from their thrones, but has lifted up the humble. He has filled the hungry with good things, but has sent the rich away empty. He has helped his servant Israel, remembering to be merciful to Abraham and his descendants forever, just as he promised our ancestors. The wait is nearly over. For generations and generations, they have been waiting and waiting for the Messiah to come. You see, this is not just a 4-week Advent as we wait as this anticipation for the coming Messiah. This has been a generational waiting, that generation upon generation upon generation have been waiting for the Messiah to come. And finally, Mary is carrying the Messiah. She is carrying Jesus, the King of Kings. This Messiah, the one that they had hoped for, the one that was going to save them, the one who would overthrow their enemies. The question I always ask myself when I read the story of Mary is why? Why did she say yes? Like, why did she not tell the angel, can you give me a couple of weeks? I need to pray about this. I really need to pray that I'm the one to do this. She didn't do that. You see, I wonder why. Why is she not taking the time to set herself aside and pray and wait to hear from the Lord and not just an angel? See, I'm sure she says yes to other things in her life, and this one seems like it'd be the furthest thing from her mind. I can't imagine she was waiting in that moment to say yes to the Messiah, and here she is now sharing her story about what is her experience in this moment up till now. And this song, see, for generations and generations, the people of Israel have been waiting for someone to come, for a ruler to lead with power and authority and might. She is looking outside of herself. You see, I love this song of her because she shares what's really going on. And she talks about how that my soul glorifies the Lord. My soul rejoices, not in myself, not in who I am, not in my ability to carry a child, not in my ability that I was chosen and I was picked. But she talks in this song about glorifying the Lord, and my spirit rejoices within me, for he has been mindful of the humble state of his servant. See, I wonder how God finds me. See, does he find me in this type of state, where I am open and ready, and I have been saying yes to him, rejoicing to be ready for God to ask anything of me, and to be ready to say yes. See, we don't need to tell Mary what's at stake. See, Mary already knows what's at stake. See, Mary knows what's going on. What's going to come of this? What's going to come of this time of her carrying the Messiah, so she has this song within her. See, at times life can be heavy. We've got family pressure, we've got work pressure, we've got school pressure, we've got pressures from our communities and culture kind of weighing in and pressing in from all sides. It can at times feel really overwhelming. It can feel like this pressure on our shoulders that we just can't lift up at times, right? We got pressure that our kids aren't behaving the way they should, right? Sometimes our kids don't meet others' expectations. And so we all look for joy, right? We look and are searching for joy to fill our hearts, to fill our souls, to fill who we are. And we look around for this. You see, the definition of joy is a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. So where do we look for this? See, often we hear people talk about how they've looked for happiness or comfort in the bottom of a bottle, and that they're still looking. Others talk about looking for happiness or joy in a relationship. They often change who they are. They change their habits and mannerisms. They're like this boyfriend chameleon, this girlfriend chameleon, where they will change these things about them in order to make that person really love them and like them, right? This is what we can do when we are chasing joy. And how has that worked out? Often not well. See, maybe for a little while, maybe for a few moments, maybe for a time it works, we're happy or we think we're happy. But then when reality and truth set in, we know that, again, this has not brought real joy. We look for places that we can control or that will control us. Or we scream out that we want to be free to do what we want. See, we hear the drumbeat in our culture that you can do, be, whatever you want as long as it makes you happy. And then when it doesn't, when it stops, find something else, right? Find the next best thing that's going to make you happy. This culture that we are living in, this culture that we create in ourselves says, if you're not happy, find someone else or find something else that'll make you happy. And when that stops, go to the next thing and the next thing. We just consume everything in our path. And at times as Christians, we think the same thing. I am not happy in this relationship, in my marriage, and this person that's a friend of mine I'm kind of happy with, so I'm just going to leave my spouse in order to be happy because that's what God wants. See, but what do we do when we finally run out of things to try? See, Mary has this amazing response, right? Mary has this beautiful response in this song. She shares in this thing how generations are going to call me blessed, right? Generations and generations are going to call me blessed. And she could have ended her song there, right? She could have said, look at how amazing I am. Look at how humble I am. Look at the humility that I have, that God would choose me to be the mother of the Messiah. Generations will worship me. Generations will think about how great I am. But that's not what she does. See, she doesn't do that in this moment. She doesn't even come close to that. Yeah, she says, guess what? Generations are going to call me blessed. But then she adds this. For the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. You see that? This shift? The shift in that moment is, I'm going to be called blessed, but I'm only called blessed because of the mighty one. Because of the great things the mighty one has done for me. Me, this humble person that I didn't deserve it. Holy is his name. So I wonder if this type of anthem, I'm going to call it, this joy anthem that she shares, this joy that's rejoicing within her, that she's trying to get out of her, that she shares and says, there's this joy here, but the only reason this joy is here is because of the Holy One and what he has done for me. Holy is his. It's this reverberation, right? This reverberation that says, yeah, I am going to be called blessed, but it's only because of what God has done. So I want to look at Scripture, just a couple other passages here, to see, is there a pattern here? Is there more joy anthems in this moment, Joshua. He shares, these stones are for the memorial to the people of Israel forever. For the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. Now, that's found in Joshua 4, 5 and through 7. He doesn't actually say that last part, but if we recreate what he's, if we kind of just, if we add a little bit there for a moment, I think we're okay there. Because Joshua says in that passage, he says, listen, it's not us. We need to have this memorial here because we are not good enough in ourselves to remember that God is the Holy One, that he is the one that did this for us. And so that's kind of what he's saying there. He says, we need to build a memorial with these stones for the mighty one has done great things for us. Holy is his name. In Joshua 6, they're marching around Jericho, and the walls are going to be tumbling down. You know the song, right? The walls are going to come tumbling down. The walls are going to fall down. And Joshua says in that passage, if we just kind of tweak a little bit and add this, what he says is, the Lord has given you the city. The Lord has given you the city. For the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. And Joseph, man, Joseph, if he had any reason to heap just the regard on himself, right? If he had any reason to make himself the center of the story, it would be him, right? He's sold into slavery. He's treated like a trash. He's brought up, lifted up high, and thrown back down again. And now he's back up high. He says this in Genesis 45, 7 through 8. What you meant for harm, God meant for good. In other words, what you meant for harm, God meant for good. For the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. This joy anthem is prevalent all over Scripture. Right? This joy anthem that says, I'm doing all these awesome things, but look at the one who provided it for me. I believe music draws people in. And I'm not sure if you've ever been to a concert in a park. You know, you'll have the few people that are there that are enjoying the concert, and then all of a sudden, people start kind of wandering in from other sides as they hear the music and are kind of drawn in, right? They're drawn into this moment that's going on. And I've been to a couple of outdoor concerts that has happened where people that had no idea, and I've been a part of one where I've been just like, oh, let's go check that out, right? I hear some music, and we'll go over and just listen and enjoy it, right? That's what music does. It draws us in. When I was in college, John, the Birchfields, John and Joni, and Dave and Levon, and Dylan and Aubrey, we went to school together. And there was numerous times, but I remember one time I was in my room in the men's dorm, and I was doing homework, or supposed to be doing homework. I was probably messing around. But I was sitting in my room, door closed, and I could all of a sudden hear the strumming of a guitar. And I kind of listened, you start hearing it, and then this voice starts singing. And I realized my friend John is just down the hallway in his room singing. And this is extremely common for him to do this. And he's just playing away down there. And I decided to just kind of go down and kind of sit by his door to listen. And so I go down the hallway, sit down in front of his room, just listening to the music, right? And eventually somebody else comes in. They could hear the song, somebody else. And after a little while, there's 3 or 4 of us kind of just sitting outside of his room, talking quietly, but just kind of sitting in the presence of John just playing this beautiful music. Music does something that draws us in. Songs that we listen to draw us in, positive or negative. What will be your joy anthem? See, what will be your joy anthem as you leave from here today? What is your joy anthem right now? As you sit there, and I don't really know what that is, Pastor Ryan. I don't know what that is. Can you explain it? Well, this is what it kind of sounds like. I have overcome addiction, for the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. Right? It's that reverberation that says, yeah, I've overcome addiction, but I've overcome addiction for the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. I have overcome abuse. Maybe you've been abused, but the mighty one, for the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. I was hurt by the church. I was hurt by pastors or people that go to churches, but I'm here. Still hurt, still broken, but I'm here. For the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. See, I don't know what your joy anthem will be or what it is. See, but when you share your joy anthem, we transfer the focus from us to the mighty one. See, our joy anthem is what God has done, is doing, and will do, or has yet to be done. See, that's our joy anthem. The joy anthem is what God has done, what he's doing right now, and what he has yet to do. And I don't know what you've been through in your life. I don't know the struggles you've come from. I don't know the battles you've fought. But I know that for us that believe in God, that we have him as our Savior, we can say, oh man, this last few years was hard. The last few years have been a struggle. My anxiety was through the roof. I was broken, but I'm here. I'm still here. For the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. See, I cannot do for you what you need to proclaim a joy anthem. See, I cannot be the one to set you free from addiction. I cannot be the one to give you the power to overcome that anxiety that just cripples you. I can stand with you and help where I can, but I do not have the power to set you free. See, the one who has the power to set you free wants to write your joy anthem today. See, this won't happen in an instant. It takes God really working in our life and using others around us. But you see our community is begging to hear your joy anthem, what God has done for you. See, people around us are looking for an identity and a hope. People are looking for joy in places where there is none. They're finding a false sense of joy that in the end will bring nothing more than brokenness. Our joy anthem says what God has done in and through me, but also what he can do for you. So what is your joy anthem? What is this, the joy that God has done in your life? What is the thing that he has done in your life? I want you to think about this for a moment. Pray about it. Maybe it's overcoming addiction. Maybe it's becoming a better parent. Maybe it's overcoming the trauma from your childhood. Maybe it's just facing your trauma. And at times when we when we face those things, we feel like we've got 1,000,000 miles to go. Right? We feel like I've got 1,000,000 miles to go yet, and I want to remind you, keep going. So even though you don't feel like you're where you want to be, you still have a joy anthem. So whatever it is, I want you to say, whatever. I have overcome addiction. I have overcome abuse. I have overcome anxiety. I'm still here. And then right at the back end of that, for the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. Well, that's your joy in. That's what God has done for you. And then I want you to post it somewhere where others can see it. Maybe it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But I want you to post it in there because I want to see your joy anthem, because others need to know what's possible. Others need to know that it's possible to have joy in their lives, to have joy that matters, to have joy that heals, to have joy to heal their brokenness. So I want you to take a moment and write this down, pray about it, but I want you to toss it on social media. And if you can, if you're following me, if we're friends on Facebook, if you're part of Restore's network, toss it onto social media and tag me. I'm Ryan Chosen on social media, pretty easy to find. But tag me on there. I want to see your joy anthem. I want to see what God has been doing in your life. Have a great day.